Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. On this episode, we're talking finance and investment. So, this one it's actually a very reflective video, somewhat, even though it's about finance, but it's a reflective video because in terms of personal development, it's shown how far I've come, but also how far everyone else is supportive of me and stuff. So, number one, good news: South African rand is strengthening. So 2 weeks back or so, the South African rand literally passed, I think, even 20 rand to the dollar, which is very bad. But for now, the South African rand is strengthening back again. You know, the fundamentals of the economy: what goes up must go down, what go down must come up, and all of these things are temporary and so forth. But I'm very glad. I hope South African prices for things are going to now start going down because the rand is strengthens for longer. Even though there's these trade wars, proxy trade wars, and all of these things, we are not impacted that much by them. I hope so, because that is what is needed for us as a people. We need the stability, we need that growth, we need it for everything economical, because we can't be hovering up and down with the whole world. Also, we need to take back, guys, 0.4% of economic growth. That is very poor. It's very poor. It's largely due to government incompetence, load shedding, and all of these. But we have so much potential, man. We can do better. I was reading somewhere where they said in the first 3 months of the year, we're able to export the most maize we've ever exported, and we sent it to China, one of our big partners, which is very good because it shows that we have the capacity to do very well. We just need to fix a lot of things which are issues within there, and we're able to be more efficient, which is very good. And yeah, it's very effective. And on the other hand, our debt of the country is said to be, I don't know, 6-7 trillion rand. So I follow this other economist. So essentially what he was saying is that having that 6 trillion rand debt isn't such a big problem for the country, because every country functions on debt. It's good for balance sheets and whatever. I'm not an economist, but that's what he said. But what helps South Africa not to be concerned about this debt is because 90% of our debt is in rands, which means that our debt security is very low, if not 0%. Because what that means is we owe in South African rands, not in foreign currencies. So, in other words, if we borrow $1 million, we are borrowing it in rands, not in the dollar form for dollar conditions of returning it back. We are borrowing it in South African rands. So it would be 14 million rand or 16 or 18 million rand that I need to give back to them. Obviously, I'll either use natural resources, I'll use trade tools, or whatever form of exchange that we have, but it's in rands, which is very good. And then the 10% is in whatever denominations that we have. That's very good, very reflective, lovely stuff for us, because we need to be on the good side of our balance sheet. It's very interesting when you follow these economists, because in as much as everyone has their own personal opinion, when they put down the numbers and they simplify them, it's very good, because we're able to understand it, we're able to interpret it, and we're also able to take it and churn it out in such good, healthy manners, you see. So yeah, very good stuff. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I love it for everyone. And then I was having I was actually watering outside, and then I was thinking to myself that, if a person is excellent at what they do, their excellence sets them apart, even though when things aren't necessarily going well. I was remembering moments of thinking of people who are literally very excellent. So I'll give an example. My uncle is a very good doctor, right? And he used to explain that he always aimed for excellence, not necessarily to be noticed or anything, but excellence in execution. And when I look at him as compared to his peers, his excellence has been so high that even when he's having an up or down moment, his excellence is still there. And I was like, you know what? These are such reflective moments as a person. We need them. That's very good because it shows you that if a person can be excellent, I must also now start to turn my mentality and my focus into that form of excellence and then catapult it, because excellence speaks for you. When you're not in the room, they know that there's Bongani. Whatever it does, it's excellent. And obviously, when you leave a room, you leave that mark, and everyone else is gonna be raving over it. They either want to surpass you or they want to emulate it. But your excellence is what identifies you. It's excellence. No one can emulate that, and as much as you can try and replicate it in whatever form, it's very good. So yeah, I hope everyone is excellent in what they do. They develop an attitude of excellence, work ethic of excellence, and a mindset of excellence, because those are 3-4 different things, but then they all end up at the same place, and they're all not mutually exclusive. They are inclusive of each other, so they should be treated that way, even though they're different, you see. And then during the week, since today is Saturday, I was talking to someone and I was like, hey, how's the finance content? And then they were saying that for them, they've listened to the content, but at times, because I'm not simplifying it, they felt that I'm not getting my message across. So in August, it'll be my mission to simplify this information that I'm going to be churning out in the simplest way for every single person. And yeah, I hope I garner up enough support, enough people around so that they're able to support and stuff. But then I liked it because I wasn't even offended when the person said this. I was like, oh, okay, so you do want to invest, you just need to understand the importance of it and how, and the different analysis and how go about it. So I was like, oh, okay, then it's fine. Simplicity is the key, because the message is more impactful when it's understood in people's ways. Yeah. And generally, society is lazy to actually read up on stuff. So, not really, I can't be offended over other people's ignorance of things, you see, because come on, guys. The moment you have a cell phone, there's so much knowledge, information, and power within there. You can do and become anything. No one can limit you. So it's one of those things. Yeah, for me, I think almost every single form of criticism becomes constructive to me, because yeah, I'm here. I'm a bulldozer, Baba. In as much as I am meant to hear all of this, I'm still moving forward. If you're just helping me, if you think you're pushing me to the side, I will still move forward. Pushing me to left, right, or even if you're giving me a boost, bulldozer still continues to move, you see, and it does the job. But thank you very much for the constructive criticism. It will go a long way, and the brother will do his best to be the best that it can be, see. And then another one of those reflective things is, at the rate that the economy is going for the world economy, I think for most people we should downgrade some of the things that we used to. Let's say I'm used to 10 takeaways in a month. I think we need to slow down to 5, help settle our large debt, do the whole avalanche payment method, where we solve our biggest up and down to our smallest, and then we will be sorted out in that regard. But we do need to do that because it's very important. You do need to downgrade, guys. It's not a dehumanizing thing. Doesn't mean that you've fallen off or you're no more your best. Financially, there's cycles. You can't always be increasing. There's sometimes you need to take the losses, sometimes you need to take the correction, because maybe your approach to what you're doing isn't working at the current moment, so you need to change it up, and then it works better for you and you're able to soldier on even better, you see. Doesn't mean that you're bad, doesn't mean that everything is horrible, no. It just means that, you know what, we will soldier on with things, and yeah, it is what it is. It's really not a bad thing. We'll downgrade to upgrade, myself included. For now, at the phase that I am, I like that I'm not materialistic. So the whole downgrading to upgrade thing, I understand, because what I'm doing now is very intentional, because I am building a fortress around me. So the pieces take longer, but then they last even longer. It's not frivolous, it's not superficial, like everything is intentional. Like I'm at a wholesome stage, you see. So that's very good for me, and yeah, I love it that way. I wouldn't want it any other way, because then that would mean that I'm now holding myself back, because sometimes you become your own worst enemy if you understand the stage that you're in the moment that you're in. It becomes a lot easier to understand where you'll be going, because for instance, now I can't say because my peers are now earning triple figures, now they're doing their masters, why am I still doing my undergrad? I understand, because my journey, my timeline, you see, mustn't rush things work according to your timeline, not anyone else's. And if things are supposed to take longer, promise you there's something important that you need to learn. So you just need to embrace the journey, as hard as it is. I'm testifying it very hard, it's very humbling, but maybe you needed that humbling, you see. And yeah, that's it. Also, I want to reflect on my YouTube journey so far. So I'm very glad that I am able to now see somewhat of a direction of the type of content that I want to do. I'm still figuring out the nitty-gritties of it. Just waiting just a little bit for something, and then I'll be able to catapult 5, 6, 7, 8 times the rate that I want to. It's a process, it's a tango. I can't do it all in one step. I need to take certain steps to get to the right place. But then so far, I've seen that it's a matter of volume. It needs to be quality volume, it needs to be consistency, and also I need to keep my engagement high. So I'll try and figure that out along with school and everything else. But it doesn't mean that it's not impossible. But I promise you, next year, sitting here, I'll be monetized, I'll be doing the things. I'm not stopping, not even one bit. So yeah, it's one of those things, man. Can't keep me down, not at all. This YouTube thing, I started for a reason, and I will continue. And I know ultimately the whole purpose of it is even bigger than me, but I'm starting this train and it'll keep on moving, you see. And yeah, so I was looking at my video, the one I did with my uncle. I think it was 4 years ago. Funny enough, I was looking at how ahead of the time the things that he was mentioning was, he spoke about the NHI, spoke about health students, spoke about a bunch of things. It was very interesting, but I feel like I should be interviewing way more people, because people need to hear the brilliant minds that I've met in my life, and I need to share how brilliant they are, because they also contribute to the mindset that I have, the drive, and you see. So it's one of those interviews that are very important. I need to do as many as possible, which I will do. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold anything back with those interviews, and I hope everyone is engaging, they'll be listening to it. But besides that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Please like, comment, share, subscribe.